Will the Straw Hats ever get that last Nakama? Is there even a spot to be fulfilled? That is the $1 million question. So, you know exactly what I did, guys. I held a poll about it. I asked the question, will the Straw Hats ever get that 10th crewmate? And surprise, surprise, I wasn't expecting this result, but 81% of people said yes. Only 19% said no. So, what's the deal here? Where do I fall personally? If you guys know me, the answer is obvious. I do think we will get that last crewmate. I mean, hell, look at the image I used for this poll. It's Luffy asking Loki to join. Of course, Loki said no, but he did extend the invitation. As long as the series goes onward, as long as Luffy keeps on finding people he enjoys being around, he's gonna keep on extending that invitation. Brother, Loki wasn't the first person who got offered this invitation, and he sure as hell will not be the last. I mean, hell, thinking back to some of my favorite Straw Hat candidates, it's gotta be Brownbeard. It's gotta be Charles Higginson. Oh, dude, I was crossing my fingers, praying every damn day that Charles would join the crew. He did not. In fact, Charles did the exact opposite. He looked at Smoker and he said, "Hey, Smoker, throw my ass in prison." Charles Brownbeard, why? I couldn't believe my eyes, bro. That was a heartbreaking day. And then, of course, we have the iconic duo. We had the tree shadow zombie thing from Thriller Bark, and we had the unicorn deer zombie. Yeah, Luffy wanted them both to join, and because they're Moria's servants and because all the Straw Hats said, "Hey, Luffy, stop that," they never joined. Some other candidates, of course, we do have Vivi. Luffy offered Vivi an invitation to the crew. She is technically a Nakama, but she's not on board the Thousand Sunny, so I don't really count her. So she is like an unofficial member. And then outside of that, we have the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and they all just wanted to join Luffy. I feel like if they asked Luffy to join individually, that'd be a-okay. But because they all asked at the same time, Luffy said, "Hey, guys, just do your own thing. We'll do our own thing. If we need help, we'll call you," right? And then, of course, the last couple of candidates we had was the Wano trio of Yamato, Momonosuke, and Kinemon. He said, "Hey, guys, if you ever wanted to be pirates, give me a call and I will pick you up whenever." Which is pretty crazy, by the way. Like, how are they going to get into contact with the Straw Hat Pirates? Do they ask Big News Morgans to print something on the newspaper saying, "Hey, Luffy, we're ready now"? Or is there like a secret Denden Mushi that they have that Yamato can simply ring and then the Straw Hats will stop what they're doing and pick her up? Not too sure. But yes, no matter who you think that 10th Nakama will be, it looks like everybody is more or less in agreement that we will get one more person. I also forgot to mention one more key candidate, and that would simply be Bonnie. Bonnie, funny enough, back on Egghead, I was actually a solid advocate for her joining the crew. It just made sense, right? You look at the Roger Pirates, for example. They had Shanks and Buggy on the crew, despite them being kids, and they were simply cabin boys. I thought Bonnie would take up that role here in the Straw Hat Pirates because she wouldn't have to do anything extreme. She wouldn't have to navigate. She doesn't have to be a helmsman. She doesn't have to cook. She could just be a kid and live life on the crew. But didn't happen. And here in Elbaf, I think it's kind of insinuated that Bonnie's not going to join as well. Because to me, at least, it seems like she wants to stick around Lilith while she rebuilds Vegapunk, the Stella body, as well as her father. And last we saw, right, before they met up with Frankie, Lilith was like, "Hey, we're gonna go get our Elbaf residency card," which, IDs were never really mentioned in One Piece beforehand, so I thought that was kind of funny. That might have been Oda hinting that Bonnie's just simply gonna stay put here for the time being. Kind of unfortunate, considering the fact that Sun God Nika is her hero, and her dad isn't really going anywhere anytime soon, right? You'd think that Bonnie would want to go on an adventure with Nika, and then loop around back to Elbaf once Kuma was completed again. But that's besides the point. That could obviously change at a later date. But here we go, on to the comment section. Let's just see what people are saying. Also, one thing too, besides Bonnie, right? We kind of talked about Bonnie's role in the crew. If somebody were to join, I do think a position would need to be filled. Like Loki, for example. If he were to join the Straw Hats, what would he do? Right? Because more or less, every single Straw Hat has a position or something that they specialize in. What would Loki's specialty be? Just being big? I don't know, man. Jinbei makes sense because he can communicate with fish. He's the helmsman as well. Loki is just, he just seems like another brawler. And we already have one of those, right? So yeah, I do like to keep that in mind with most of these candidates. But now just go into the comment section and see what people are saying. that says the return of Vivi, that is it. Yeah. I saw some of these comments earlier, and it seems like a lot of people are on Team Vivi. And I don't hate it. Vivi, not exactly my favorite character in terms of personality and fighting style, but I will admit, sorry guys, I'm a gooner. She's good looking. And, I will take it. I'll take that one, man. And as far as I go as well, I do think that the Straw Hats need a girl. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going for the diversity hire right here, but it's kind of a sausage fest, right? We've had Nami, we've had Robin for years and years and years, and we just kept on stacking up guys afterwards. So yeah, I think we need one more girl on the crew, just to kind of balance it out, even though it'd be like 7 and 3. But yeah, that is why I was a big advocate for Bonnie joining the crew. That is also why I wanted Yamato to join. And that's why, even though I don't like Vivi per se, I don't mind Vivi joining. It's like, yeah, just get another girl here, man. Why not? Why not? And hell, very, very, very much so in the minority here, I was even on Team Rebecca for a little bit too. Carrot, I don't know. I don't like Binks, man. You guys know me. I'm a little bit racist. When it came to Carrot joining, I was like, hey, it fits my quota, but do I want Carrot to join? I don't know, man. This says, I think Vivi joining the Straw Hats next arc will be the catalyst for the world government's aggression towards the Straw Hats more than already. I think when Vivi finally joins the crew again, Emu will see it as all the targets being in one place, causing them to take control and will start the final war. Edit. Yes, I put this in the wrong section. Okay, yeah. That is my fault. What he's referring to is all of the polls I held. Yeah, we got a good amount. I think I posted like 7 in a row. I apologize for that. I was kind of slacking. I was like, okay, I want to make content. I have questions I want to ask, but I forgot to post them. My bad, y'all. My bad. But yes, as far as Vivi joining the Straw Hats next arc, I don't mind that. I wouldn't even mind if she came here to Elbaf. Funny enough, back during Egghead Island, people thought that she was going to show up there. She never did. But now that we're on Elbaf, maybe she will come. And since most of the action is currently taking place in the Sun Realm, I think it would make sense if she showed up right here and now, because she does have the Wee News Big News Morgan's ship. They can simply fly all the way over here and say hello to the boys when they make it up there. And, talking about the catalyst for the final war, this could also start right here. Like, imagine this, right? Of course, this negates Vivi joining the Straw Hats, but I do think it would be really interesting if Vivi showed up during this chaos in Elbaf and Emu sees Vivi. Imagine the crash out. Maybe that's how Emu gets sent home. It's not because of Brook playing music. It's not because of Sun God Nika. It's not because of Loki. It's because Emu sees the blue-haired baddie known as Vivi, which essentially is just Lily from the Void Century. Brother, if you were to put those pictures side by side, Lily and Vivi, damn near identical. It is crazy how Oda did that, man. Which is why I think when we hit the Void Century, Joy Boy might just look like a different dimension Luffy. Like, it's gonna be almost 1-to-1. I can already see it, brother. And then, hell, look at Blackbeard and Rocks. Yes, they have differences when it comes to their hair, but the body's kind of the same. The face is the same. Like, dude, it's all there, man. It's all there. 100% Barbell as a pet. Chopper promoted to doctor. No. What happens here is that Barbell would replace Jimbei. Fishman for a fishman. That's how we got to look at it. 10th Straw Hat confirmed since the start. Hope it never breaks. The Monster Trio dynamic. Yeah, I don't think it will. I think Oda has played pretty well with the Monster Trio dynamic throughout the whole series. Like, everybody who's joined has never broken the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji power dynamic. I mean, hell, Frankie, people thought he was going to be really powerful. And then, of course, Enies Lobby happened, and we're like, okay, Frankie's actually down there, right? He's maybe like 4th or 5th strongest. And then we had Jimbei. Jimbei, if he were to join during Fishman Island, he would be well above maybe even Sanji and Zoro. Well, that's kind of crazy to say. Maybe dial that back a little bit. But Jimbei would actually make us start questioning who's 2nd and 3rd. So when it came to Jimbei joining, he just waited until Wano happened. And at that point, boom, Sanji and Zoro are well above Jimbei. There's no questions about it. Of course, he's playing around with the bounties, and that's like a whole meme on Sanji, but, it is what it is. And that is one of my main copes for Yamato. Like, I still am more or less a Yamato believer. Like I said, I'm cool with any female joining, but Yamato, I don't think is bad nowadays either, right? And hey, if you are a Yamato for Nakama believer, that could be a pretty staunch reason as to why you still believe it current day. It's because Oda didn't want Yamato to join during Wano, because she would be above possibly Zoro and Sanji. So that's why he didn't bring her to Egghead, and that's why Yamato's not here in Elbaf. Oda's probably waiting for Sanji to get Conqueror's Haki and for Zoro to master his Conqueror's Haki as well. And then after that happens, boom, Yamato joins, and then now it's just number 4 or 5, right? I think that is a pretty decent cope. And yeah, you know, you got to keep that power dynamic in check. I think Oda's doing pretty good at that. Minus like the memes of like Sanji and Zoro's bounties like bouncing up and down. This says, Vivi, because the X foreshadows the 10th. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, the X on the arm. I mean, hell, the X on the arm is important. You know, minus the foreshadowing of the 10th Nakama. We saw that even Emmett, during the Void Century, had the X on his arm as well. So Joy Boy more or less did the same thing as the Straw Hats current day, which is pretty fun. I feel like if we get more crew members, then the ones that don't get much focus will get less time than they already do. This is true. I think this is a pretty reasonable fear. I mean, hell, look at Frankie on Egghead. A lot of people thought that Frankie would get like, you know, a nice spotlight shown on him. Never really happened. It might happen here in Elbaf. I think Oda is actually focusing on the lesser Straw Hats in this arc. Like Frankie, he has the 3,000-year-old building that he visited with Lilith. And then we had Robin having her little moment when she met Saul. And then when she was fighting Sommers. And then hell, even Brooke is seemingly getting a flashback, right? So I think Oda is pretty conscious that if he were to add another Nakama, that it could take away from the current members. But that is why I think characters like Bonnie would work really well. Because Bonnie, her story is kind of all rap, right? She's just kind of here for the vibes, for the adventure. And then hell, even Yamato, right? We kind of know what Yamato's all about. She's essentially Odin, right? She might want to complete Odin's logbook. And then as far as Vivi goes, her story's more or less completed too, right? And these are all characters that we will see in the final war regardless. So while I do think this is a very reasonable stance, I don't think some of the potential Nakamas we have on board would take away from the members we got. And I think Oda is pretty conscious of this as well. Like I said, Elbaf has done wonders for a lot of these side characters, and I am still expecting Usopp to shine out later as well. You know, as much as I don't like Usopp, I do think that he will get his moment here. And if he doesn't, then yeah, okay, this is a real problem, right? But I am pretty optimistic when it comes to all of this, so we will see. This says, Oda has hinted that these characters may join Boa Hancock because she has Cock and Vivi. She's in danger, and Imu has a hit on her. Yeah, Vivi's an interesting one. She is in danger. Imu does want her, which is why I think her coming here to Elbaf would be pretty cool, because she could just get kidnapped by Imu, or maybe that's a trade-off. Like, imagine that. Imagine Imu's like, hey, you guys can have the Elbaf kids. You guys can have the Giants back. Give me Vivi. Give me her, and I'll let Elbaf go. The Straw Hats wouldn't like that. But, I mean, in the face of Imu, man, that would be that'd be tough. As far as Boa Hancock joining, I don't think it'd be bad. She doesn't necessarily have a home right now, because she can't stay on Amazon Lily, because as long as she's there, the Navy will keep on attacking it. So last we saw, Rayleigh and Shaggy and all of them were like, hey, Boa, you gotta leave. And Boa seemingly agreed. She showed interest in wanting to go join Luffy's crew. Will that happen? We'll see. It's a tough one, you know. When it comes to Boa Hancock, I think she could join Cross Guild. And of course, that doesn't really make sense because she doesn't like Buggy. She doesn't like anybody on the crew. But maybe she joins them for a little bit just to find Luffy. Then again, I mean, Luffy shouldn't be hard to find. If you read the newspaper, it obviously shows that he's going to Elbaf. So, yeah, I don't mind Boa Hancock. My only thing, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But dude, it's like having Robin 2.0 on the crew. Especially now that Robin has the black bangs back, right? Like, 2 girls with black bangs on the crew. Of course, they have their differences. You know, Boa has the earrings. She's got the fit. A little bit taller as well. Got the devil fruit. But, I don't know. I like Boa, though. I do like Boa. And the COC does make her pivotal in these fights as well. Like, if she were to come here to Elbaf, she could easily fight the God Knights, right? If you told me that she had advanced Conqueror's Haki, I'd believe you. I think that's a pretty simple bridge to make. This says, always Team Vivi. Unless Vivi counts, then no. They already have a 10th member. It's okay. You guys know what I mean, all right? When I say 10th Nakama, you guys know exactly what I mean. It's like a 10th Nakama on the crew sailing with us. I remember back then, before I got Jimbei, it's like, oh, you know, who's going to be the 9th member? And people are like, oh, it's Vivi. Vivi's already here. Bro, Vivi's not here. You know, she is an official member of the crew, but she's not sailing with us, brother. She's not sailing with us. What if the 10th Nakama was something unexpected, like the canon version of Uta? Canon version of Uta. I love Uta, but making her canon and going through like her whole backstory again, I feel like that'd be too much. That's like a whole arc in and of itself. So I don't think this would happen, even though I do like the idea, right? Like I said, I'm a big Uta fan. It's going to be a Rouge. A Rouge joining the crew. Would he fit in? I don't know, dude. A Rouge he's an oddball. Frankie, make Loki join the Straw Hats and my life shall be yours. Yeah. Hey, Frankie, please make another ship just for Loki. Yeah, that's one thing about Loki, right? If Loki were to join the crew, how the hell would he fit? Like, unless his devil fruit transformation has him swimming or flying or makes him smaller, logistically, there's no way to get him on board. I mean, maybe he could just swim beside us, but that would just be a freaking hassle, man. Wait, he can't swim. He has a devil fruit. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of Loki joining. I just think that he, out of all the candidates, right? Vivi, Yamato, Bonnie, even Carrot, I think he is the least likely to join. You know, especially given the fact that he was sailing well before the Straw Hats too, right? He was his own captain, more or less. So I think he has his own agenda. He also wants to take over the world. Take the world, which is probably just Emu. I just feel like he wouldn't mix too well. And then, of course, like the whole Mosa plotline, right? He wants to go see Mosa after he's done here in Elbaf, and we don't know where Mosa's at. You know, maybe the Straw Hats don't want to make that journey. Unless it's like Shirahoshi, and then it's like, yeah, like the Straw Hats would go save her, because that's technically Luffy's territory. But yeah, Loki is a fun one, but just too many things about him, man. We need to have the OG Straw Hats see her message, and then Morgan's drop her off either at the next island or here at Elbaf. Maybe that's how we get to the Heaven Realm. Oh yeah, Morgan's is like, hey guys, hop on my hot air balloon and then I'll take you to the Heaven Realm. Is there a way up there? There's a lift that takes you from the underworld to the sun world. How do you get from the sun world to the Heaven Realm? Is it like a ladder? Is there another lift? Or do we actually need big news Morgan's blimp? Yes, they need a Logia user because they currently don't have one. I like that. Yeah, looking at this from a Devil Fruit perspective. Logia, huh? We don't really have any Logias that are super friendly with us right now. The only one I can think of is Smoker. But Smoker has his whole own agenda going on right now. He's currently on his way to see Sword and Tashigi. Yeah, so he's off the list. Cool idea, though. You know, I loved it whenever Smoker teamed up with the Straw Hats and Alabasta, and even Punk Hazard, but I can't see that happening. Caribou was a solid option for a little bit, but we know Caribou's real goal, so yeah, no Caribou. Yeah, that's tough, right? I feel like at this point in the game, we're so late in the story that I don't think that the last crew member will be a brand new character. You know, after Elbaf. It's got to be Loki, Vivi, Bonnie, or Yamato. I can't imagine Oda bringing in a new character on Lodestar Island, for example, or Marie's Raw, and then they just join the crew. I just feel like it'd be way too late in the game, personally. But it could happen, right? We don't really know the plans for the next island, so maybe it's possible. Vivi, Yamato, and Momo will all officially be part of the crew by the final war. Yeah, that could happen. We could just get everybody, right? Everybody that Luffy extended an invitation to, they could just join. It says, yes, Yamato is done with the tour. I can see them joining. Also, I hope that Vivi joins. And I can see Bonnie and Lilith staying on the ship as well. Dude, give them everybody, right? Yeah, hey, bring in Brownbeard, man. Hey, somebody break into Impel Down. Free my man Brownbeard. Bring him on the crew. If it's Bonnie, I could see that. But I don't think they need another crewmate. They're kind of set, and I'm sure Oda doesn't want to have to draw another character in the crew every page. They're together. Oh yeah, Oda. Hey, if there's one character that we know that Oda loves drawing, it's unironically Yamato. I know the fan base is sour about Yamato, but Oda is a funny guy, dude. In the SBS, after the Yamato cover page story ended, somebody asked Oda, like, hey, you know, when will these cover story characters come back into the canon story? And Oda listed off everybody like Enel, he listed off Gidatsu, yada yada, CP9, and he mentioned Yamato on the list. And he's like, oh, I know we just finished, but do you guys want more Yamato? I'm excited as well. It's like, bro, we just finished it, man. Oda, we just finished it. We literally have had Yamato all throughout Egghead, and even partially through Elbaf, because of the cover page story. Oda's a funny man. This says, it'll be Vivi or no 10th member. I don't know how Loki would even get on the ship. Yeah, that's a big thing we got to worry about. I really don't want anyone else to join the crew. Also, somebody said, unironically, by the way, when it comes to Loki joining, somebody said, oh, Frankie can just make the ship bigger. Bro, you know how awful that'd be for all the Straw Hats, right? Like, go back to the most recent anime episodes. The size of a giant chair fit the entire crew and more. You know what I mean? Like, a giant ship would be awful for the Straw Hats. How would Jinbei steer? You know what I mean? Like, the wheel would be massive. Oh, hey, Usopp, fire the cannons. Okay, Luffy. 2 more episodes, Luffy. I'm almost there, Luffy. Like, dude, it would be awful for everybody. For Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, yeah, they're going to be like zipping around. But for everybody else that doesn't have insane speed feats, brother, a new, bigger ship that fits Loki. Keep in mind, he's an ancient giant. He's bigger than Hirunden. The ship should be bigger than the Naglfar. That'd be a no-go. Yeah, I say let's not get a bigger ship. I do think we need a bigger one right now anyways, because the Thousand Sunny is small for even just 9 crew members. But don't make it giant-sized. Do not make it ancient giant-sized. Please, I'm begging you, for Usopp's sake, don't do it. Don't do it. I really don't want anybody to join the crew. It's Bonnie, no 10th crew member. They've got this wrap, yeah. I think when people say they don't want a 10th member, I think it does go back to this right here. They're not saying it out loud, but I could hear it. Like the voice of all things, I can hear people saying, I don't want a 10th one because my favorite Straw Hats already don't get a lot of attention. And I feel it. I feel like this is a very valid complaint or very valid worry, you know, but I think Oda is conscious of that. And like I said, a lot of the crewmates that we felt were underwhelming in the past arcs, it seems like they're getting their time here in Elbaf. Or at least I hope, right? We're still in the early stages, which sounds crazy considering what's happening right now. But after we beat Emu off the island, what's going to happen with Frankie? Are they going to hang out with Lilith for a little bit? Is he going to research that ancient facility? What's going to happen with Robin? Is she going to reveal the ancient kingdom lore? Is she going to stay and read books with Saul? And same with Chopper, right? The Giants have their own medicinal system. Maybe Chopper could learn something. I think Elbaf could provide a lot of great growth for every single Straw Hat, if Oda wants to take the time and do that, but we'll see, brother. We'll see. So now, on to the next poll. Only got 2 more to go. This says, when will the Straw Hats see Vivi again? First one is Final War. Second is Next Island - Arc. And the last option is here in Elbaf. 27% believe that Vivi will be shown in the Final War. 65% believe that she'll be on the next island. And 9% believe that she will come here to the Land of Giants. Personally, I like this last option a lot, just because I want that Emu interaction. And I think this could actually throw a crazy wrench in Emu's plans, because Emu wants Vivi, right? So she shows up. Maybe that stops Emu from capturing the kids. Maybe it stops Emu from Domi reversing the Giants. I think Vivi would really throw Emu's plans for a loop. So I want her here in Elbaf. And of course, like I said earlier, right? If you just pay attention to the news, you will know that the Straw Hats are going to Elbaf. I mean, hell, they left Egghead Island with the Giants. That was reported. So yeah, I think the chances of her coming here are decently high. I just kind of wish we knew what the message meant, right? The message in the newspaper. Because she put the X on Luffy's arm. That could simply mean that she's okay. It could mean that she's on the way. We don't really know yet. And it sucks because all the Straw Hats that saw the X in the newspaper, they have no clue what it means, dude. Robin looked at it and she said, there's something about this that seems familiar. But besides that, Frankie saw it, Brooke saw it, Jinbei saw it, and they have no clue what the X is, brother. So yeah, personally, I am a Vivi and Elbaf believer. Next arc wouldn't be bad either. It just depends on what the next arc is. Like, is it Lodestar Island? Because if it is Lodestar, that would be pretty crazy, right? Because Lodestar is apparently an island only the Pirate King officially reached, at least 20 years ago. So what, you're telling me that Big News Morgans is just gonna casually show up as well? Like, oh yes, actually, Roger wasn't the first, it was me. Actually, right after Roger left, I showed up. That'd be kind of funny. But I guess another route that Oda could take is that he could just say, oh, the Straw Hats are sailing away from Elbaf. Boom, Big News Morgans just meets them in the middle of the ocean and drops her off. I don't think that'd be bad either, right? And with Morgans in his ship, I feel like that'd be pretty easy. You know, getting that bird's eye view, having the news queue working for you, yeah, you would be able to pinpoint the Straw Hats location in a heartbeat. So now, let's look at the comment section to see what people are saying. This one says, she left that hint, Nami will notice it ASAP. But what does the hint mean? Right? Like that's the thing. It's a hint that she's okay, but is that all it means? Or is there like a deeper meaning behind it? Does that mean that she wants to join the crew again? Does it mean that she's coming? We don't know. You know, I think there's so much ambiguity around it. And I think that's what makes not just like this whole plot point, but the whole series exciting. You know, going back to like the Nakama route, right? Even though you don't like certain Nakamas joining the crew, even though you don't want a Nakama at all, you can see ways where Oda can make it work. So when it comes to the X, it's like, yo, what's happening with this, man? What is Oda gonna do? Vivi is gonna show up with Sabo to discuss the Reverie at some point, hopefully end of Elbaf or post-arc. Show up with Sabo. I think she'll give us Sabo lore. I don't know. I mean, Sabo is at Kamabaka Queendom. So getting him to come to Elbaf, I feel like that's kind of tough. Especially right now, given what the Revs are doing. They're currently attacking Marie's Rod. They're waiting for the Holy Knights to move so that they can make their move. So I personally don't think Sabo has the time to, you know, take a trip with Vivi to give the Straw Hats the 411. But we'll see. Funny enough, I mean, Bonnie knows about Sabo too. And she didn't really say much. Remember that? At the beginning of Egghead, Bonnie was like, oh yeah, I should tell Luffy about Sabo. Nah, I'll save that for later. That conversation still hasn't happened. So hopefully that happens post-art. And then of course we could get like Vivi's perspective mixed with Bonnie's perspective, and that would just be beautiful. Vivi joins Cross Guild. Okay, that's a random one. Vivi joining Cross Guild. That would mean she'd have to work with Crocodile, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. I feel like there's still bad blood there. As far as Robin goes, Vivi was like, oh, you know, I trust the Straw Hats. I trust Luffy. There's no reason to trust Crocodile, right? Crocodile didn't exactly get Luffy's stamp of approval. He did during Marineford, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. Film Stampede. Crocodile helped out for a little bit, but the minute Luffy picked up that laugh tail log pose, Crocodile did come in for the kill. Of course, again, not canon, but yeah, Crocodile current day. Would he want to fight Luffy? Would he see Luffy as an ally? Depends. Depends on the goal. This says, we need to have the OG Straw Hat see your message, and then Morgans drop her off either at the next island or here in Elbaf. Maybe that is how we get to the Heaven Realm. After realizing Vivi's message, the Straw Hats won't be staying in Elbaf, but go after Morgans. How would you do that, though? I think that's another big question, right? I've seen a couple people saying that, oh, the Straw Hats go after the We New ship. Where is it? It's a constantly traveling ship. There's no log post to it. We have no Vivi card for Vivi, to our knowledge. So I think finding Morgans is going to be a big hassle, which is why I think Morgans right now was definitely the best option for Vivi to go with, because Imu won't be able to find her. Now, of course, we had Sevapol up there at one point, but who actually nowadays thinks that Vivi is with him? You know, I don't think anybody could guess that one. This says, I feel like she will meet up with the crew eventually, but I don't see her as a permanent Straw Hat, since she doesn't bring any fighting power to the crew. It'll probably be similar to Alabasta, where she temporarily stays on the ship, and then will return back to her kingdom to rule, since her kingdom doesn't have a ruler and is probably in chaos. I see her joining during the Final War or Laugh Tale arc. It would be interesting for her to learn about the Void Century and her ancestor Lily. Yes, I do want that to happen. I do think it'd be really cool if we got that Lily lore and Vivi was within earshot of that conversation. I mean, hell, maybe, again, if Vivi shows up here in Elbaf and Imu is still present, Imu could be like, oh my god, let me tell you about your ancestor. You know what I mean? I think that'd be fire as hell. But I mean, that doesn't have to be Elbaf specific, of course. Imu exists in the Holy Land, so during the Final War, I do think that we could get that as well. So keep that in mind, right? Imu doesn't just exist here in Elbaf. I just want to make that distinction. What if Morgan's appearance forces Imu to retreat because the world can't know about the secret of Imu and the God Knights? Huh. Yeah, Morgan's shows up and then takes a picture of Imu. I think the God Knights aren't a secret. It doesn't sound like it. I mean, Akainu knows about them. And who else has mentioned the God Knights before? I feel like the God Knights aren't that big of a secret. Imu is, but since Imu is currently possessing Gunko, I think that would be a hard one to sell, even for Big News Morgans. But I like the idea, though. I think we see some sort of public Imu reveal to end Elbaf before we get a quicker Pirate Reverie type of arc with a duel between Yonko crews, and we see them coordinate their friends-allies for the common goal of taking down Imu. Okay, as a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, you know, as a Jack Sparrow fan myself, I love this idea. I don't know if you guys remember Dead Man's Chest or At World's End, but when they're fighting Davy Jones and when they're fighting the Navy, the pirate lords all gather together to essentially discuss the final war. I would like that. Like, surely there's some island in the world of One Piece akin to, you know, Roger's era Shaki's Bar, where you land on the island, you go to a building, and you cannot fight there. You know, imagine that, brother. You know, if they're still alive, Kaido, Big Mom, Luffy, Shanks, Blackbeard, Cross. Oh, dude, if we got all those guys in a room discussing the final war, that would be absolute fire. Maybe that's Lodestar. Yeah, maybe that's Lodestar. It's an island that is essentially neutral ground. No fighting allowed, or else somebody will do something and it just doesn't benefit anybody. Which I know that's very vague, but we don't really have any context to how this would work yet, right? Back in the day, it was because Shaggy was so beautiful, but nowadays, we don't exactly have that same sway with Boa Hancock per se. This is either the end of the arc, like Morgan's balloon landing on the Heaven Realm, or the next arc. Yeah, it seems like pretty much everybody's on the same boat here. And now for the final poll of the video. And my God, I apologize, y'all. I did not expect this poll to get so damn toxic. It was, dude, it is crazy, man. You know, and that's one of the things, right? That's why I like holding these polls. Because I'm like, hey, you know, I love Yamato. Yamato for Nakama, man. Let me see Yamato again. And then I hold the poll. And look at this. Top comment. They will never meet again. People really don't like Yamato here. And then, of course, you keep on scrolling down. You'll see more Yamato hate. But it's like, man, I did not expect this. So, when will they see Yamato next? Of course, it's the same options as the Vivi poll. But just for Yamato, Final War is winning this by a landslide. 79%, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, people do not want to see Yamato for as long as possible. As far as next arc, Dash Island, that got 17%. Here in Elbaf, low at 3%. Yeah, 3 and 9. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Yamato is such an interesting character. If I had to, like, dream pick somebody to join the crew, yeah, I'd pick Yamato. And that's just because when I look at Vivi, Bonnie, I just kind of see them as, sorry to say, damsels in distress. If another woman were to join the crew, I would want them to be a powerhouse. So that's why I really enjoy Yamato. And as far as Yamato goes, I do think that she has a reason to sail with the Straw Hats as well. And that's mainly because of Odin's logbook, which, yeah, I know. Odin's logbook, no, Sai! Yeah, she is inspired by Odin. She sees herself as Odin. And when it comes to Odin's logbook, she got the whole 411 on what went down. She knows more or less about 90% of the world, or at least most of Odin's travels. But Odin did something kind of foul. He ripped out the last couple of pages. I would not be shocked if that is Yamato's motivation to going to Laugh-Tale, because that is what's ripped out, right? Potentially Laugh-Tale and Lodestar. So I wouldn't be shocked if Yamato's like, hey, I want to see what Odin wrote down here. Let me go to that island myself. Let me join the Straw Hats. And we do get Yamato next arc. Yeah, Elbaf feels weird. You know, Yamato would have agency here because she does have Advanced Conqueror's Haki. She would be very good against the God Knights. But right now, I just feel like we don't need her. Like, dude, look at the lineups, right? We got Gunko, Emu, St. Somers, and St. Killingham. Who do we have on our team that has Conqueror's Haki? We got Luffy, Loki, Scopper, Zoro, and then maybe Sanji if he gets it this arc, right? We don't need Yamato. If Yamato shows up, who's she fighting, right? Is she going to stall somebody for a little bit? I just have no clue. So, yeah, if Yamato did show up soon, I just say next arc Dash Island. It could just be that easy. And one way we could spin it to where it would make sense would be if the Straw Hats ever backpedaled. Because as it stands right now, Blackbeard, we don't know what he's doing, but he has information on the ancient weapons. He knows about Pluton. He knows about Poseidon. If he attacks Wano, maybe the Straw Hats have to go back and help them. Because you gotta remember, Luffy, one of the last things he did was he gave Wano his Jolly Roger. He said, if anybody ever attacks you guys, they're attacking us. If Blackbeard attacks Wano, I could see Luffy going back over there, maybe picking up Yamato and setting off again. I know, people are probably throwing tomatoes at me right now because people hate Yamato. I get it. I think the reasons for disliking Yamato are pretty valid. Same with most characters, right? But yeah, I think Yamato gets a lot of hate, man. It's sad to say. And, as a gooner, it's like, man, Yamato's great, y'all. Come on. What are y'all looking at, man? This says, where was Yamato at the start of the next arc? Since I can't believe Yamato to travel to Lodestar or Laugh-Tale at all on her own. Yeah, and when it comes to Yamato traveling, like if she were to come to us, an easy way to get her over here would just be through Momonosuke. Momonosuke is a dragon, right? Kaido was going to use his dragon form, go from Wano all the way to Marineford to fight against Whitebeard in the Navy. Yeah, I think Momonosuke could bring her to the next island. Like, it's not insane. And the thing is, too, we got to keep this in mind. Even though a lot of time has passed, Elbaf is technically the next island after Wano. The only reason we went to Egghead first is because we played the log pose, straw poll with Kid and Law. And we lost, so we had to go to Egghead. And then, boom, we went to Elbaf. So yeah, Wano is relatively close to Elbaf. I don't think it would be insane if Momonosuke simply brought her over here, but we will see. This says, I said next island-arc, but I think it's going to be a specific area. The Ally Rescue Arc. I just have this feeling that there's going to be another Straw Hat crew separation, like the time skip. But instead of training each Straw Hat, they'll be sent to save, rescue, or help some... Pudding, Garp, Vivi, Law, Kid, Wano. Fishman Island. Oda has been setting up all these people places to be targeted and captured. I think it'll be interesting to split the crew up to save everyone for the final arc and I really with this idea. I mean, here's the thing, right? Pudding, even though I think some people might not feel this way because it's been so long, she is an ally of the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy has good memories with Pudding. Sanji, really great memories with Pudding, right? If they learned that Pudding was captured, they'd probably go after her. Maybe they leave it to the Big Mom Pirates. I could see that as well. Like, hey, that is Katakuri's family. That is very possible. But if Sanji, for example, said, hey, Luffy, I want to save her, what do you think Luffy's going to say? He's not going to say no. Yeah, believe it or not, Luffy's not going to say no to that. And then Garp. I mean, realistically, Pudding and Garp, they should be at the same place because they're both under Blackbeard's control. But if Luffy learned about Garp, would he go after his grandpa? That was a big question back when he first got captured. And people are more or less divided on that. Like, grandpa has his own adventures. The Marines will save him. But Luffy, would he want to lose another family member? I don't think so. And then Vivi, I think Vivi will be more or less fine because she's with Morgans, unless she comes here. Kid and Law, I don't think Luffy cares about them like that. If they're nearby, I think Luffy would help. But I don't know if he'll learn about them right away. Wano, yes. Fishman Island, yes as well. I guess when it comes to Fishman Island and Wano, the main question becomes, how does Luffy learn about those events? Does Big News Morgan simply print the newspaper out and then the Straw Hats read it? That'd be interesting. Like, who would go where? Like, hey, Zoro, you go to Wano and help the samurai. Sanji, you go to Fishman Island and save the mermaids. I'll go save my grandpa. And I'll save Pudding while I'm at it. That'll be interesting, man. I do like the crew separation idea. It kind of just goes back to time, right? How much time does Oda want to spend on this? This would be a great way to wrap up all those plot points, to be fair, if they split up. And he doesn't even have to show some of these on screen. Yeah, he doesn't have to show this. He could just show Luffy's perspective, and then we cut away, and then boom, we get the wrap-up of Zoro and Sanji and all their journeys all at once. That's a fun idea. I like this. I don't know if it's realistic, but I really like the idea. This comment says, I personally hope we never see Yamato again. I like Yamato. I hated what they did with the fake out in the end. I hated that too. Fourth option is never again. 2-piece. We still need to see the reveal that her mom is actually Gloriosa. I honestly would like if she came to Elbaf. Doubt it happens unless time dilation is a thing. Oh yeah, time dilation. That's a big one too. I'm Kozuki Odin. Yeah, dude. Yeah, people hate Yamato. Time dilation is a big one as well when thinking about Vivi and Yamato. Because if that is true, a lot of time could have passed in Wano. A lot of time could have passed with Big News Morgans. So they could show up sooner rather than later even. So that is another big thing to keep in mind. And Yamato just finished her journey as well. So yeah, she might be ready to join the crew at this point. Or at least, visit us again. Yamato will return in Avengers Doomsday. Not for a while. I hope, not gonna lie. I think I just blew past anything involved with her other than when she fought Kaido. Hopefully Blackbeard takes care of her so we don't have to see her again. Yeah, you guys see it here. People don't like Yamato, man. I get it, right? They don't like the Odin lore. They don't like how they portrayed her. But for me personally, man, I love Yamato. I think she's a great female lead, super strong. I like her devil fruit, ice powers. It's a mini Kaido, dude. How can I hate Yamato? I think she is adorable. And also, I just want to say this, but no matter who joins the crew, whether it's Loki, Bonnie, Yamato, or Vivi, they all will have certain advantages over Emu. If Loki joins, we have another advanced Conqueror's Haki user in our group, and he has one of the 2 legendary fruits that can take Emu down. If Yamato joins, we straight up get another advanced Conqueror's Haki user. If Bonnie joins, we get another iteration of Nika, and if Vivi joins, Emu will get PTSD'd. But that is just my opinion, of course. I am in the minority when it comes to that. I get it now. Everybody's on Team Vivi. Maybe we'll hold a poll in the next couple of days asking about Bonnie and Loki, and if they'll join, where you guys want them to stay, and etc. But for now, I just figured Vivi and Yamato would eat up this video, and I was right, considering this video is about 40 minutes long. But yes, let me know all your opinions, thoughts, and theories down below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and staying until the end of this video. I really freaking appreciate it, and I'll catch you all later. Peace out, and stay safe, brothers.